Give him a kiss.
A dream about it. Are you ready to experience? Oh yes. Any initiative?
The nature of this memory is special.
Let me introduce the identities of these suspects to you. It's very straightforward. First of all, it's the Papashi people and only stands as tall as Sparkle's waist, which is often a source of teasing for him. He can get pretty salty about it. Next up, you have the merchant Lefton. He wants to join up with the Penacony Trading Guild and is in direct competition with Miss Sparkle. That could be a motive for killing her. Finally, there was the gambler Zhongshan. He lost a bet to Miss Sparkle, and he had to hand over his family heirloom. It's possible he harbored a grudge against her. That's all the information we have. Do you need me to repeat it?
That won't be necessary. I remember it all. And there's the tie.
That skit before said
There's the tie.
said that the deceased was strangled. Is this tie some kind of joke murder weapon?
The tag on the tie reads, "Only for Imperial Master Lefton." Seems like it's one of Miss Sparkle's personal belongings.
That's not how you use the word imperial.
There's an accounting book lying on the ground. It must have been specially placed there by Sparkle.
On the title page is written Chen Katong. Is that someone's name? A code name. Oh, I think it's the name of the owner of this book.
This Jian Katong person should be Sparkle's targeted victim this time around.
So, it's just like the first case then. Only 2 pieces of evidence. The rest hidden inside her memories again, right?
Miss Sparkle doesn't want to distract your investigation. Miss Sparkle does...
She doesn't want to distract our investigation? What a law-abiding citizen this Sparkle is. Why doesn't she surrender then? Abiding... stool that seems quite normal. There are 2 small footprints drawn on it in crayon.
The footprints, which are half as big as standard, must belong to a Pepeshi person.
Perhaps it's just that this person's drawing skills are extraordinary. What's that smell? Why is there a smoked red herring there?
Mr. Sampo, take a look. This is a wonderful smoked red herring.
Somebody save me from this cringe joke.
Even among the fools I know, Miss Sparkle's sense.
Have you dealt with many masked fools before?
No, only a handful. After all, I prefer warm memories baked in sunshine. They're the ones that usually belong to kind people.
This clock is...
Open it up and take a look.
There's a ring inside. This is evidence too. Why was it planted inside another device?
Because this ring was found inside the victim's mouth. We want to reconstruct the scene of the crime.
In the victim's mouth. In the victim's mouth.
Hey, there's something engraved inside the ring. Zhongshan family heirloom. That should be it. Let's head out.
I have to thank you, Mr. Assistant Detective, but the puzzle this time is pretty strange.
Have you found out who the killer is?
Just some shallow intuition. Anyway, let's report back to the sheriff for now.
Oh, for the laughter! Didn't think I'd be seeing Detective Black Swan so soon. Was that? You found out who the killer is?
Pretty much.
You live up to your reputation, Detective Black Swan. As smart as the nest of magpies roosting in the roof of my Uncle Frank's garage.
This guy is mixing up his birds here.
Then go ahead. Who is the killer, and what evidence do you have to prove the case? Good. Then let us appreciate your powers of deduction. Have you solved the case? Wright is a Pepeshi citizen, and Miss Sparkle was a low-key bigot, always laughing at his height. Have you solved the case? Lefton is a wealthy merchant who has been competing with Miss Sparkle for decades. They're always at each other's throats. Have you solved the case? This guy, Zhongshan, is a card shark who used to play Get the Koi with Miss Sparkle. He gambled away his entire family fortune.
This ring is a piece of evidence, right?
That's right! That's the one! What would a penniless wretch of a gambler like Zhongshan be doing at such a fancy fashion store as this? Because he was planning, he'd stolen Lefton's tie and was just about to get away when he saw Miss Sparkle, the one who'd stolen his family fortune from him. So he darted into the changing room and tried to get back his ring. Who could have known that Miss Sparkle would end up swallowing that ring? All Zhongshan could do was use the tie in his hand to try and strap down her neck to prevent her from swallowing the ring. But he unexpectedly managed to strangle Miss Sparkle to death. What a tragedy! If it weren't for your incisive detective work, the murderer would still be at large.
Is something wrong here? This is too easy. The first case wasn't hard, but this one...
As you can imagine, the conclusions that the evidence points to are not mutually exclusive. Which means, this is probably another prank from Miss Sparkle. Mr. Assistant Detective, please feel free to point out a suspect as the murderer.
Ah, I see. Sheriff, the murderer is Lefton. The evidence is the tie, right?
Correct, Detective Sampo. I never thought you'd...
The murderer is right. The evidence is the stool, right?
Yes! For the laughter, how did I fail to realize this formidable intellect of yours?
Then, right from the start, there was no murderer. The evidence is the ring. Whatever, I'm just spit.
Goodness me! Deputy Sheriff, is he really a genius? How could such an unfathomable mystery be solved so easily by him?
Oh.
Look, Miss Sparkle has given us a puzzle where every single answer is correct.
Why take it so seriously? Miss Sparkle is a masked fool, not a masked genius. If it's a challenging puzzle you want, please go out there and turn right until you get to the Intelligentsia Guild. We're only responsible for providing an entertaining detective experience. Anyway, since our genius detective Black Swan has cracked the case, I will now share Miss Sparkle's next puzzle with you.
So that's it? This is just going to go on and on? So that's it? This is just going to go on and on forever? We can't...
Then I wish you both the best. Oh yes, if you're not in a hurry, I can tell you the answers for some of the outcomes you never chose. Detective Black Swan, would you like to hear about the other answers that you did?
Why, I wouldn't miss it for the world. Seeing as you put so much work into everything.
Lefton is a wealthy merchant who has been competing with Miss Sparkle for decades.
This tie is a piece of evidence, right?
That's right! That's the one! This tie belongs to Lefton, and it just so happens to be the murder weapon in this case. Could the evidence be any more solid than this? Lefton snuck into the changing room and waited for poor Miss Sparkle to enter before using this very tie to brutally kill her. And then he stuffed Zhongshan's ring into her mouth as a way to try and frame him. What a tragedy! If it weren't for your incisive detective work, the murderer would still be at large. Wright is a Pepeshi citizen, and Miss Sparkle was a low-key
This stool is a piece of evidence, right?
That's right! That's the one! Miss Sparkle always teased poor Wright until he was unable to take it any longer. Eventually, murderous intent was born. Taking advantage of his position, he stole Lefton's tie and told Miss Sparkle, "Miss, please come with me to the changing room. I'd like to show you a matching tie." Miss Sparkle never thought Wright would retaliate against her, so she went back with him to the changing room. As Wright stood atop the stool and helped Miss Sparkle try on the tie as usual, he then suddenly pulled it tight. And that's how he killed Miss Sparkle. What a tragedy! If it weren't for your incisive detective work, the murderer would still be at large. What do you mean by that? This evidence doesn't really prove that he is the
Nothing. I thought there was an answer for every single permutation.
Don't go too far. Miss Sparkle will get tired. What do you mean by that? This evidence...
Nothing.
Don't go too far. What do you mean by...
This ring is a piece of evidence.
That's right! Zhongshan Zhongshan. What? This guy? Zhongshan. Detective Black Swan.
Why, I wouldn't miss...
What do you mean by...
Just as you said, solving puzzles is all just a cover for something else. That girl is toying with us. What should we do now? Just keep getting led around by her?
Truly, Miss Sparkle is a fascinating person. She seems chaotic inside, but easy enough to understand. Like a performer on the stage or child hungering for attention. This game will be over soon. This time, we're going to catch her.
Miss Black Swan, Mr. Sambo, you're finally here! I am the famed detective of Penacony, and next to me here is my assistant detective. A murder in a locked room has left us all stumped.
As expected, another change in setting.
Yesterday, my assistant and I were visiting the famed artist Miss Sparkle, and we stayed the night. But this morning, Miss Sparkle didn't come out of her bedroom. The butler, Zhongshan, said that the door was locked from inside, so we ought not to have disturbed her. But Miss Sparkle had never slept in so long, and no matter how hard he knocked, there was no answer from inside. As soon as I heard, I knew something must have happened. So I acted decisively and broke the door down to get inside. The room was covered in splattered blood. Miss Sparkle's body was lying right in the middle, her face white as snow. One look told me she'd been dead for some time. Thinking quickly, I grabbed the artist canvas to staunch Miss Sparkle's blood, but... alas, poor Miss Sparkle! She's left us now forever! Besides us and Zhongshan the butler, left and the cook, and Wright the driver were also at the scene of the crime. What would you like to do?
Presumably, Miss Sparkle is now carefully arranging the next crime scene, right? Why don't you skip all this rigmarole and just have a heart-to-heart conversation with me? It might tickle a little.
Wait up! Wait up!
Honest kid. I know where you are, Miss Sparkle.
No
cheating!
No
cheating!
cheating!
Mr. Assistant Detective. You seem to be getting anxious.
No, it's... This locked room murder case is pretty fun. I want to guess who it was.
Let's go.
Hey, Miss Black Swan, wait up! Wait up! Miss Sparkle has one final message to announce. Ding-a-ling! Now comes the most exciting and romantic moment in any drama. The audience challenge. Everyone knows that the mighty masked fool Sparkle can change her appearance to look like others. And in this drama, the villain Sparkle has disguised herself as another character. So then, I put to you, which character is it? Also, if you're interested in the locked room case that the memo keeper ignored, you can try out your powers of deduction. I put lots into coming up with the puzzle, so don't let it go to waste. Thus, the masked genius Miss Sparkle has thrown down the gauntlet. All the clues are in motion. Happy hunting!
Miss, why didn't you just do this earlier?
Such a crude approach violates my aesthetics of memory. But as a means to an end, I need to put this aside for a more indifferent process.
There's no weird, sweet dreams troupe, nor is there evidence strewn all over the place. Finally caught up with her. But what's that thing? A Bella Boggian trash can? In Penacony?
Hey, dear Memo Keeper and Mr. Coldfeet, you made it. Hey, dear Memo Keeper and Mr. Coldfeet, you made. I didn't expect you to skip the final puzzle. That's on me. All right. Miss Sparkle cares not for the faults of ants like me. Come then. This is the final question. Listen up. What creature has 4 legs in the morning, 2 legs in the afternoon, and 3 legs at night?
No murder case this time around?
Sometimes it's nice to take things easy. Come on.
Since it's a classic puzzle, the answer is people, right?
Wah, wah. Wrong answer. How could it be as boring as that? The correct answer is Sparkle. When sleepy in the morning, she can't get out of bed. She runs about all afternoon in a fluster, so is exhausted by evening, but has to still raise a hand to hold a toothbrush. Poor Sparkle. So we have 4 legs in the morning, 2 legs in the afternoon. 3 legs at night.
What the heck was that jibber-jabber?
What a cute answer.
Thanks for the compliment, my dear. But you can't try to fool me, seeing as you've just tried to cheat. Wrong answer. Accept your punishment.
I'll see you off.
Destiny isn't chosen. Ill tidings manifest.
The fight is set.
Ill fate descends.
Bloom, you have my gratitude. Eternal stand and return!
Holy smokes! What's up with this guy? He just came out swinging from nowhere. Huh? No voices? This guy's pretty quiet. Miss, let's hurry up. Flip open the lid and find the girl.
Wait. Don't move. Something's off.
Miss, you killed Sparkle. How is this possible? How can people die inside Penacony's dreamscape? In the Garden of Recollection. What did you do? You did this, didn't you? Killing people in their dreams. Only the Remembrance has the powers to do that. You planned it out all from the start because she teased you and was pranking you. You wanted to kill her. Oh, I understand. You refused to let me go because you wanted to drag me into all of this. If I don't agree, I'll end up just like she did.
There is no death inside Penacony's dreamscape. That's the promise of the family and the blessing of the harmony. Not even a memo keeper can break this barrier. There's no need to take such great pains. If you just want confirmation, I've already told you the answer, Miss Sparkle.
Miss Sparkle! Who are you talking to?
You. Sparkle has disguised herself as another character. Wouldn't that be you, Mr. Sampo?
This? Don't jump to conclusions! If you want to accuse me of being Sparkle, you have to provide the evidence. Oh, I'm afraid evidence is a little too hard to come by. So, deduction will do.
The hint for the final question was a little too obvious.
Oh, you mean the locked room murder? I thought you weren't doing that one.
All the painstaking effort that Miss Sparkle put into it. How could I ever miss it? The key to solving the puzzle lay in 2 pieces of information put forward by the detectives. First, the large splatter of blood at the crime scene. Second, the victim had been dead for some time. Based on my shallow understanding, I can only draw 2 conclusions. One is that the murderer did not need to create a locked room case, because a locked room always needs a reason to exist. But, based on the detective's description, this locked room did not delay the discovery of the body. There was no third party at the crime scene to frame, and the blood everywhere didn't look like a faked suicide. That being so, the murderer seems to have no reason for creating a locked room. There is also reason to speculate that if the crime scene was a locked room, then its creator might not necessarily be the murderer. As for my second conclusion, it's even more obvious still. When everyone broke into the scene of the crime, why did the assistant rush off to staunch the blood? A trained professional was somehow happily destroying a crime scene just to save someone who's obviously been dead a while. The answer is simple. It's because the assistant detective is the murderer. At the time, I was in such a hurry that I didn't hear the whole mystery. I tentatively speculated that the murderer had killed the victim the night before, but hadn't locked the door from the inside. And so, when he learned this piece of information, he realized that the victim had created their own locked room mystery. That's why he had to rush to the crime scene as soon as possible, to confirm whether or not the victim left any evidence implicating him. And, judging by his behavior, it probably had something to do with that canvas, like some final words. Of course, this is just a simple mind game. The answer to the puzzle isn't important. Miss Sparkle just wanted to pass on one hint to me, that the murderer is the assistant detective. Which means it's you, Mr. Sambo. I've been using this term of address, but it was you who first came up with it.
Has anyone ever told you that you're more like a detective than a memo keeper?
In my opinion, there is no difference between the two. Follow ripples along the surface of the water. Use some abilities and tricks to keep diving deeper, and touch that secret deep inside people's hearts. Salvage it, and protect them carefully. The truth does not lie. Neither do memories.
Exquisite reasoning, and very close to the truth. But I have another answer. Would you like to hear it?
Another answer?
The great artiste Sparkle locked herself away in her bedroom, using red paint to create the semblance of spattered blood everywhere. And that assistant detective who was first on the scene, who confirmed her death, was not the murderer, but rather an accomplice who assisted her in faking her own death.
What a pity, such a pity. My dear, you were so close to the right answer. Unfortunately, the right answer is... Miss Sparkle's body. Sparkle was disguised as Sparkle's body. Ding-a-ling! I won!
Does Miss Sparkle's body even count as a real character?
Why not? Miss Sparkle's body appeared in all 3 of those skits just then.
It's a little bit forced, but it's fine. So, who is this Mr. Sampo, then?
Beautiful lady, I already confessed everything to you. Know a thing. I just helped a friend send a letter. That's all.
So I've been running a fool's errand this whole time.
My dear, why so serious? Haven't you been having a great time? I have, at least. You take memories, and I get joy. We get what we need from each other, seeing as we're such kindred spirits, but also such loners. Why don't you come and work with me? Ooh, we can dance ballet together.
Oh? Am I understanding this correctly? A masked fool inviting me to work together?
A show of unprecedented splendor is about to be staged in Penacony. If you're too late to take the stage, you can work behind the scenes. If you want to appreciate this drama, you have to stand up under that spotlight as you take the stage and watch the dancing envelop you. Come with me. This is the best seat in the house.
I don't really understand why you're so fixated on destroying family barriers. But, as I said before, a memo keeper can't help you. It's frankly above my pay grade. Also, I don't consider you a loner. Oh, I don't mean him, but rather behind you. The one who hired you to come to Penacony probably doesn't want you secretly linking up with other forces, right?
How did you know?
Memory is like the deep blue sea. But if you tried to catch 2 fish with 1 cast, you might not be satisfied with your catch.
So, you mean you're refusing? Memo Keeper, did you think you could just leave?
Why not?
My dear, I don't want to scare you. You'll know the answer sooner or later. We're just getting to know each other a little today. If you ever change your mind, come find me at the tavern. That is, if you can find me. Let's go, Sampo? Sampo. Who is Sampo?
This is Bellabug, right?
Let's go, Sampo? Sampo. Who is?
This is...
I said, why not?
Memo Keeper, did you think you could just leave?
Why not? I said, why not? Don't worry. Such a crude approach violates my statics of memory, so once you leave my sight, you'll be able to remember everything again. And also, I'm sorry, my dear. My dream dance partner? I've already got sights on someone else.
What a special dream this has been. And did you notice its nested structure? Clear inside the dreamscape, it's as real as cat. That's the end of Miss Black Swan's dream. Are you satisfied with your experience? I also found this dream so fascinating. You've gained joy from it. You've gained joy from it. And Miss Black Swan surely also feels gratified. Yes? If we meet again, I will pass your esteemed praise on to you. I noticed that the people in your dream were familiar to you. It's worth repeating that dreams are just dreams. And in Penacony, dreams can be processed, or even tampered. Things in our dreams cannot be trusted, let alone in someone else's dreamscape. If there's any information that you'd like to confirm, please do so by the cold hard of reality. Sweet dreams.
wouldn't do anything to her.
Don't worry about that, Memo Keeper. Let's talk about my thing. I've helped you out with everything you've asked, as agreed. Shouldn't you give my mask back to me now?
Since when did the masked fools suddenly start respecting agreements? Just kidding. I loved seeing that look on your face. Take this key to the tavern cellar, third barrel on the left. You never saw me. But Sampo, after all this time, what made you suddenly want to take back your mask? This doesn't seem like the Sampo I know. Let me guess. A catastrophe is coming to Urello 6. Am I right?
Well, no comment about that. But I love that line you said. If you're too late to take the stage, you can work behind the scenes. That really makes sense. Sometimes even an old-timer like me feels like taking the stage and making a fool out of myself.
If you're all out of options, please get in touch with me. I'm the kind of person who values friendship highly.
Forget it. You'll be doing me a favor if you stay away from Bellabog. After all, the elation that Miss Sparkle seeks isn't something old Sempo can stand by. Go tell Giovanni I said hi.
Fine, I'm just spitballing here. Don't take it so seriously. Why so serious?